is the father of modern soul music.
He broke through a lot of color barriers and wasn't afraid to be the first.
He was a racial hero as much as he was a musical hero.
Record companies really wanted him to be an entertainer and nothing more, and that was never going to be enough for Sam Cooke.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, Sam Cooke.
He was a complicated black man in a complicated world.
Sam was taking a big risk by saying, I don't want to play in a segregated space.
Klan members down there had a problem with that.
Suddenly there are threats suggesting you should not go up on that stage.
He was threatening. There was a sense in the music industry that Sam was getting too powerful.
Who would want to shoot Sam Cooke?
There are a lot of people who believe that there was some sort of cover-up.
People deeply felt that the FBI was somehow involved.
When I found out Sam Cooke, Muhammad Ali, and Malcolm X were all connected, I said, what a huge threat to America.
Looking at these men, Sam Cooke might be the most dangerous to you because he's already in white American living rooms.
This very mysterious death, what happened and why was he there and who was this woman, and all those become bigger questions than what was he on the edge of achieving.
What's up, everybody? This is the Jedi. I'm bringing this because we've been covering this whole dust up with Michael Jackson and what that meant and means and why. Then there's Nipsey Hussle and there's Sam Cooke, who was before the other two. But there's a commonality between these three men. And we could add others to their ranks, trust me. But particularly this one is inspired because Nipsey Hussle was 33. So was Sam Cooke. In the trailer that just ran, which is for something on Netflix, which means it's them telling our stories once again. You know, we need to encourage our children to go into careers that help the culture, everybody. You understand? We need more filmmakers. We need more directors and producers and executives and business moguls and things like this. We need that. Every time that I talk to a college-age student who's actually going to college, and I say, what are you majoring in? It's always in something that doesn't help the culture and doesn't equal a coin. It's always like psychiatry or psychology or some nondescript major that doesn't do anything for the culture or a coin. We have to have our kids going to other areas, everybody, because you know every time we turn around, there's a documentary or any new information or something about one of us. It's them that's telling the story, and we have to be over that. We have to be over that. You know, we're not out digging up our own history. But we're happy to march around there saying, I know my history. I know my history. Where'd you learn it from? Who? What was the source? Where'd you get it? You see? Now, one could say, well, it doesn't matter really where the knowledge comes from as long as you get it. There's an argument there for that. I can acknowledge that. But that still does not negate the fact that we should be digging up our own history and writing our own stories about it. You know, but I was going to say that what Michael Jackson, Nipsey Hussle, and Sam Cooke all have in common is they were getting too powerful. And I would even add the Black Panther to that. And like I said, there's a whole list of people that can be added to this. I'm just choosing these three people. But please know that this is not just them. and I mean and intend to insinuate others, but I'm using them, because they are just three in a long line of any of us who would seek to have real power and real ownership in anything, and the threat that is to white supremacy. They were people who could get along with white people, but still keep their eye on the black ball. I saw some footage of Nipsey. Apparently he had some Puma deal, and I was disturbed that he was on the Puma jet that he doesn't own, and I saw, white people on there, and I thought, this is the problem. You can't have any of these people around us, because we go back to COINTELPRO, everybody. We're still dealing with the same enemy. Like I say, you don't put a partition in time and say it all changed with white people, because it never has. They know it, because they are them. They know. But they're trying to make you think there was this mystical partition that was put, and all of that is in the past now, and everything is brand new, and it's not. So, anytime you have anything in the midst that's not of you, that's a problem. I never seen an anthill where there was locusts also. I haven't seen it. Have not seen it. Have not seen a colony of grasshoppers where there was moths also. I have not seen that. You see what I'm saying? Allah is showing you in nature that everything stays to itself. It just does. The zebra is aware of the lion on the plain. They know each other. They know. But they stay away from the lions, and the lions stay away from them unless the lions are attacking them. You see, and so forth. Malcolm said that what was his quote? I'm going to paraphrase it, and it's the quote, but I'm saying my words. He said, any black man telling you to love your enemy is not fit to lead you. Period. And that's always rang true for me before I even knew that Malcolm said that. I just knew inherently that made no sense to me. It made no sense to me. My grandmother used to say that, when I was a child. You have to forgive and love your enemy. No, I don't, Graham. I don't need to do that. I'm pretty sure I don't need to do that. I don't need to. I don't need to do that. Especially an enemy I didn't create. No, hell no. Hell no. I don't forgive you, and God damn it, I don't love you. You understand? So that's anti-intellectual. It's retarded. It's psychotic. It's all things just crazy. You don't need to forgive or love your enemy, especially when you didn't create that enemy. Period. You create an enemy, you deal with that how you feel is best for you. Just you. You see. But these people are an avowed enemy to us, and have been, and still are, and we didn't make it that way. We didn't do that. We did not do that. And so, as I said, when in the trailer that you saw, that I ran before the intro there, you heard them say he was becoming too powerful. Too powerful. You see. Okay, I had a break there, but anyways, I don't remember what I was saying, but I think I'm saying, or was saying, they were getting too powerful, and so this is a threat to white supremacy, and yet those same whites would stand around scratching their head as to why black people can't pull themselves up by their bootstraps and this and third, because every time we try to, this is the result. Understand? And that's why I've never understood this nonviolence bullshit. I've never understood that. I've never understood that. Never. Because we are on the receiving end of nothing but violence. In fact, Fred Hampton, was it Fred Hampton? I don't know, it was Fred Hampton or Huey P. Newton that were saying, and they were saying this back in the 60s. They were saying, we haven't lynched nobody, we haven't sent nobody to jail, we haven't killed nobody, we haven't done anything, but yet we received that. They were saying that then. This is 2019 and it's still true. You see, but again, when a black man expresses power and will, it's a threat to white people only. Because we don't have nobody else that we're quarreling with, or that's quarreling, attacking and provoking us. You see, but when you express power and will, so in the case of the Black Panther, they armed themselves. They learned about the Second Amendment. They said, wait a minute. These white devils ain't the only ones that can carry a goddamn gun. We can do that too. And they did. You see, as long as we allow ourselves to remain a sitting target, that's why we've always been under attack. You don't have to be brilliant to figure this out. If you're just sitting in the water and you're not firing your guns, you're going to be attacked. A famous story that they try to hush in history was the case of the USS Liberty, one of their warships that they had out in, I think it was international waters. But what made it significant is because it flew one of the largest oppressive American flags ever made. It was huge. And they allowed the Israelis to attack it. And word came from the White House to make sure there was no survivors. Like this whole sick relationship between them and the Zionists in Israel in that illegal state is something that is just unholy and needs to be fucking destroyed, if you ask me. But I cite that to say that the Liberty was disabled. For something was disabled about the ship, so it was just sitting there. And so for decades as a people we've sat here and they've slathered on this nonviolence bullshit. We need to be over that and stop being a sitting duck in the water. Stop it. You see? I don't know what we're going to read about Sam Cooke. But what I do know is that I haven't heard anything in the history of Sam Cooke or anybody else being taken out by this enemy and then an army of us shows up for revenge. Have not seen that. Haven't read it. Haven't read it. Now, the mysterious death of Sam Cooke. Los Angeles, 10 December 1964, 9 p.m. Everybody in... I can't hardly see this, and it's on a big ass screen. Wait, I need to enlarge the show. I can't see it, you can't see it. Everybody in Martoni's Italian restaurant had their eye on Sam Cooke. in his side divorce suit. The 33-year-old R&B singer cut a dashing figure with his recent live at the Copa album climbing the charts. Sam was on the brink of stepping up to the big leagues, a crossover figure on par with Nat King Cole and Sammy Davis Jr. I want to say also, for anybody that doesn't know, like, you know Sam Cooke, you know some of his songs, even if you don't know it's him singing it. You know, in fact, when I was preparing for this video, I was trying to find other video footage that I could share with you, and all I could find was a bunch of white people singing his songs. I'm over it, you know. But you guys have heard the song "A Change Is Gonna Come." You know, I was born by the river in a little tent, etc., etc. Just like that river, I've been running ever since. It's been a long, long time coming, but I know change gonna come. Anyways, I'm just faking it because to give it its justice, you have to sing out, and I'm too fat and lazy to do that right now, so I'm over it. Anyways, he was having dinner with producer Al Schmidt. That's a problem. And Schmidt's wife, Joan. Well-wishers kept stopping by the table, interrupting their conversation. Sam, who'd already had 3 or 4 martinis, eventually got pulled away from the bar. When their orders arrived, Al Schmidt went to get Sam and found him laughing it up with a group of friends and music business associates. Sam was buying, and he flashed a wad of bills, what looked like thousands of dollars. He told Al that he and his wife should go ahead with their meal. At a booth near the bar, there was a baby-faced 22-year-old Asian girl sitting with 3 guys. Sam caught her eye. He had seen her around. One of the guys, a guitar player Sam knew, introduced them. The girl's name was Elisa Boyer. Wait. An Asian chick named Elisa Boyer? I'm over it. Before long, the pair was cozied up in a booth. They left Martoni's about 1 a.m. in Sam's brand new red Ferrari and headed to a nightclub called PJ's, where they were going to meet the Schmidts. By the time they arrived, the Schmidts were gone. In the club, Sam got into a heated argument with some guy who was hitting on Boyer. She asked Sam to take her home, and they left at 2 a.m. According to Boyer, Sam raced down Santa Monica and, against her protest, pulled onto the freeway. She later told police that she asked again to be taken home, but Sam said, "Don't worry now, I just want to go for a little ride." He stroked her hair and told her how pretty she was. Well, this is her telling it at this point, so let's throw out the told her how pretty she was part. Sounds like a self-aggrandizing person, because even if that detail is true, if I'm given an account of something that happened, I would leave that out. I just would. I'm saying, she took me for a ride, against my will and everything. She was telling me how good I look. I can't. Does that seem just out of place to anybody else besides me? Let me know, goddammit. They exited the highway at Figueroa Street near LAX. Boyer asked again to be taken home, but Sam drove straight to the Hacienda Motel. He got out of the car and walked up to a glass partition at the manager's office while Boyer remained in the car. Well, why didn't the bitch get out and run? So obviously she wasn't in fear for her safety, so she's not articulating that at all. She's just asking to be taken home. And alas, this is Sam Cooke, which, let me see what picture we're using at the beginning of this. I don't know when that picture's taken. Well, whatever. But anyways, he was a handsome guy, by any account. So she remained in the car. He registered under his own name with the clerk, Bertha Franklin. Bertha eyed Boyer in the car and told Sam that he'd have to sign in as Mr. and Mrs. Oh yeah, because this is 1964. Yeah. So when all this, you see what I'm saying, the morality was different. You see. Well, I won't say the morality was different. The rules were different, you know. Sam drove around the back of the motel. Boyer claimed he then dragged her into the room. Really? Nah, Heffa, because you just said he went up to the glass partition. You waited in the car. So you weren't under any duress. You see, and alas, he's been drinking, according to testimony by the Schmidts or whoever else. Or they said he already had 3 martinis. You know, and then he was buying rounds, and then they went to PJ's, and and he drove on the freeway. Come on. He dragged her into the room, pinned her on the bed, and started to tear her clothes off. She's got no credibility with me. None. Your words have no weight with me, 'cause you're counterfeit, I see. Begin to tear her clothes off. I knew he was going to rape me, she told police. Well, you didn't know that when you got on the freeway, and then when you started driving in a different direction, and then when you pulled to the motel and you were sitting in the car, you still didn't know? What do you think was going to happen? You were going to the tea dance? She has no credibility, everybody. None at all. None at all. In fact, she's lying or her story has been changed. Like, by powers that exist. And he was going to rape me, she told police. She went into the bathroom and tried to lock the door, but the latch was broken. She tried the window, but it was painted shut. When she came out, Sam was already undressed. He groped her, then went into the bathroom himself. Boyer, wearing a slip and a bra, picked up her clothes and fled. Oh, now she flees. Now she flees, huh? At what point does she scream bloody murder and holler help? You see? But this is the same heifer that if Sam Cooke was living now, she would be coming forward to say she felt uncomfortable and it was 1,000 years ago, but I was raped. Fuck you, bitch. You had your chance, heifer. You had your chance. I'm telling you, there needs to be, and that's one of the things we should be working for too, everybody. Not for everybody else, but just for our people. We need some kind of a law put in place. We should be fighting, and we should have petitions out that to put statutes of limitations on victims coming forward. Like, you have a certain amount of time. Like most stuff has a statute of limitations in this country except for murder. For the most part. And so I just feel like there needs to be a statute of limitation on this. We can't get into your psychological space, and we shouldn't be required to. I don't care about your psychological space. If something happened, we're interested to know that. But you have a responsibility to come forward. You understand? Just same as when you're on the scene of a crime and you saw something and you didn't come forward, you can be charged as after the fact or withholding evidence. So they have all these crafty words they've come up with to get your ass. You see what I'm saying? So nothing should be different with this. Don't give me, it's such a thing that you just wouldn't understand, and so therefore it could take 50 years for somebody to come forward. Well, that's your 50 years. That's not ours. You see, but this would be that same heifer that would be coming forward right now if he was alive. And she still might come forward if she's alive. And she fled. The first thing she said she did was pound on the night manager's door. She could have run from the car, though. Franklin didn't answer. And that's Franklin. Okay, that's her in the picture. Franklin after shooting Cook. Wait, I don't know what's going on. Let's read on now. She was knocked on. Franklin didn't answer. Boyer ran half a block, dumped her clothes on the ground, and got dressed. Tangled among her clothes were Sam's suit was Sam's shirt and pants. Nah. Tangled among? Because just a second now. You gotta get up early for the Jedi. She says that they drove to the back of the motel. Boyer claimed that he then dragged her into the room, pinned her on the bed, and started to tear her clothes off. So he's still dressed. So that means, what she say, pinned her on the bed. So her clothes are on the bed. He's tearing her clothes off on the bed, according to her. Her clothes are on the bed. And if she's laying on her clothes, so if you're ripping her clothes, he's just ripping them open, if that even happened, which I don't think it did. So that means she's still, the weight of her body is still on her clothes. And they're ripped, everybody. They're ripped. So there will be nothing left to put on after the fact. They're ripped, according to her. You see? And then she said she went to the bathroom and tried to lock the door. The latch was broken, the window was painted shut. When she came out, he was already undressed. So, any man in the heat of passion, if he come out of his clothes, this is Sam Cooke, and they said something up here, he was in a side d'Ivoire suit. He's not just throwing that on the ground. He's laying that on a chair. You see? I don't know who Side d'Ivoire is. I'm sure it's very shishi poo poo and we can't even afford to say the name of it. But it's inconsistent. Because then she gets down here and she says, meanwhile, wait. Boyer ran half a block. So she's in, what is she in? She's in a slip and a bra. And she runs half a block, dumped her clothes on the ground, and got dressed. No, because your clothes are ripped. How are you getting dressed? And then they say, tangled among her clothes was Sam's shirt and pants. No, bitch, no. Even if I want to give you the shirt, I can't give you the pants. Because the pants came off, according to you, while you were in the bathroom. But according to your overall testimony, he was dressed before you went into the bathroom. So he wouldn't put his clothes with yours. You see? And if your clothes are ripped, I suggest when you ran to the bathroom, you should have had some of your clothes on. They were just ripped, not torn off. But it did say up here to begin to start to tear clothes off. So they're in shreds. So after you run these 2 blocks, there's nothing for you to get dressed. You understand? I can't, y'all. But tangled among her clothes was Sam's shirt and pants. She left them on the ground, found a phone booth, and called police. I don't believe her. I don't believe her. When you don't want somebody to come after you, you take their pants. That's an old trick that we know women have used forever. They take your pants. You ain't got no pants, you can't go nowhere. You see what I'm saying? She left on the ground, found the phone booth, called police. Meanwhile, Sam, wearing one shoe and a sports jacket, had come out of the room, frantically looking for Boyer. He drove the Ferrari back to the manager's office and banged on the door of Franklin's office. "Is the girl in there?" he yelled. According to Franklin. When she said no, Sam began to work on the locked door and rammed it with his shoulder. The frame ripped loose and the latch gave. Sam charged in, looking around for Boyer. He grabbed Franklin's wrist. "Where is the girl?" They got into a tussle. "I can't." Let's read on. Franklin, though shorter than Sam, and fat, though shorter than Sam, I can't read today, sorry y'all, outweighed him by about 30 pounds. She told the police, quote, "He fell on top of me. I tried to bite him through the jacket. Biting, scratching, and everything. Well, I'd like to see those marks. Finally, I got up when I kicked him. I ran and grabbed the pistol off the TV and I shot at close range 3 times." Who believes this? And they say this is her after the shooting. What's this? I mean, I can't, let's read on. I'm getting more disgusted as I go, everybody. We might abort. Y'all know how I get. 2 of the bullets missed. But you shot him at close range 3 times. How did 2 miss? It's not believable. 2 of the bullets missed, but the 3rd entered his left side, passed through his left lung, his heart, passed through his left lung, his heart, and his right lung. That means he was turned to the side, homie. Sam fell back and in astonishment said what would be his last words. "Lady, you shot me." I don't know how much of that I believe. Clearly that's a shot traveling from left to right. Through the left lung, then the heart, then the right lung. And she said at close range. That means his hands had to be up, because there's no mention of his left arm or his right arm. That means his hands were up. Because you're talking about an upper torso shot. That means your hands can't be cuffed, and bent at the elbow. No. They have to be up, homie. Up. Up. Why would his hands be up? When she said he was on top of her, he fell on top of her. She said, "He fell on top of me. I tried to bite him and scratch him and kick him. I finally got up. When I kicked him." How did you kick him if he was on top of you? "I run and grab the pistol off the TV." So, he fell on top of you. You somehow kick him and get out from under him so he's not up yet. My thing is you got to get him into a position where this shot goes from left to right cleanly through his fucking body. And it doesn't hit either of his arms. And his arms are up. Oh my God, I can't. Anyways, Franklin claims that he got up again and ran at her. Really? She hit him over the head with a broom handle. This time, he stayed down. When the police arrived, Sam Cooke was dead. Nah. They've turned him into this crazed, animal. One minute he's dining with the Schmidts and chilling, and he's buying people stuff at the bar, and he has enough lucency to see this ugly bitch and approach her. You went with him. What'd you think you were going to do? Watch the sunrise? It's not believable, everybody. You see, in order for this to be valid, you have to believe all the bullshit that came before it. You have to suspend common sense and knowledge and questioning. I can't. At 6 a.m., Sam's widow, Barbara, greeted the news with hysterics, trying to shield their 2 young children from reporters and fans who were gathered at their house. Which is another reason why I don't believe this black bitch up here. This is 1964. This is Sam Cooke, I'm sorry. She would have known who Sam Cooke is. You understand? And this is happening in Los Angeles, the entertainment capital. So even if she was in, like, you know, go to hell, Mississippi or someplace where maybe somebody didn't know him or something, certainly in Los Angeles he would have been known. And I think that a Sam Cooke beating on her door or doing anything would have been received way differently. He wouldn't have needed to beat on the door. He could just knock on the door and say, "It's Sam Cooke." That's it. You don't need to fight your way into a room or beat a door down. And why would he immediately think that she's ran to the manager's office? People flee a hotel. What's the manager going to do? So it's not like you just walk into the office or something. It just there's so many areas here. Where are we at? Fans were gathering at their house. 5 days later, at the coroner's inquest, Boyer and Franklin recounted their stories in a hasty proceeding that barely allowed Sam's lawyer one question. Anytime they rush you, that means it's something they don't want to happen. In a hasty proceeding, that barely allowed Sam's lawyer one question. Tests showed that at the time of death, Sam had a blood alcohol level of 0.16. 0.8 is considered too drunk to drive. Well, he drove. You see, he drove. And not only that, there was no testimony by this Asian bitch that his driving was sporadic. It was purposeful. He got off on the exits that he meant to get off on, etc., etc. He was able to go up and pay for a room and drive around the back. I mean, this is not somebody that was just drunk out of their mind. Not only that, we also know that everybody processes alcohol differently. You see, any of these alcohol or intoxication numbers have been made up based on white biology, everybody. We have to remember this. And this is why I always preach that we have to reject this idea that they put forth that we're all the same, because we are not. We are a different creature than them. You understand? Our melanin is not just the only thing that's different about us. And as we learned when I brought you the story of Henrietta Lacks, we have a different protein that comes off of our cells than they do. We're a different human being. You understand? And that becomes important when you talk about medicine, when you talk about treatment, when you talk about anything. And certainly when you talk about intoxication. What might intoxicate the ass may not intoxicate us. Listen, they're dropping dead like flies right now across the country from painkillers. Which it's deeper than that, because it's pain, and then they're going to heroin and it gets into an area and it's a whole other thing. But anyway, it's known as a white issue. That's only why they care about it. And why it's not being treated as a criminal thing, because it's them dropping dead. So are there no black people out there on this? You see, biology matters. It matters. And so this is a black man. So who cares what his alcohol content was? That doesn't mean he responded the same way. And then how long did he drink? You know, like how long has he been drinking? He was 33 years old. You know, he wasn't a Muslim, so he's probably been drinking most of his life. So he's probably used to it. You know? And then this is them telling us his blood alcohol level. You see? Not us. It's them telling it. Tests show that at the time of his death, Sam's blood alcohol level was 0.16. Sam's credit cards were missing. But a money clip of $108 was in his jacket pocket because the bitch missed it. She took the pants so she could get the wallet. She took the pants to get the wallet. She's 22. She was in this club. They said she was a fresh-faced, looking whatever. He's 33. So, a 22-year-old in a place where 33-year-olds are at, she was there for a reason. She's probably a hooker and a whore. But it's consistent that his credit cards would be missing and not his money clip because they said the money clip was in his jacket pocket. She's not a man. So a man would know to check the inside pocket of a man's jacket because we know we got that pocket. You know, and any sister probably for the most part will know that. But it's typically would be known to men. So if a man is going to rob another man, we would know to go for that jacket pocket as well. A woman is only thinking that men carry stuff in their pockets, in their pants. So this would be consistent with that she would miss the $108 money clip. And they said earlier that when he was buying rounds and everything, that it looked like he had thousands of dollars. Just a second. Well, they said I think they said something like he had a wad of money and the club got into a heated argument. No. He says he's one of the guys, a guitar player. No. Sam was buying and flashed a wad of bills. What looked like thousands of dollars. You see? That's very significant. Because I don't care how much you got in cash, $108 ain't gonna look like no wad on no day. Not even in 2019. You know what I'm saying? Unless you're gonna tell me it's all in ones. Which that didn't happen. So this was clearly her trying to rob him. That's why she had the pants. She ripped her own shit. That's why it wasn't fully ripped. That's why she was able to put it on later. You understand? And she got out of the room. And if Sam was angry, maybe it was because he went to the bathroom. She said he went to the bathroom, and that's when she escaped. I suggest to you she went to the bathroom, and that's when she did the robbery and took the money and ran. And then Sam comes out, realizes she's gone, sees his pants are gone too, realizes it's been a robbery, runs down to the manager to say, "Where's this girl at? She just fucking robbed me." That's a scenario that makes more sense than this piecemeal garbage they're giving us here. Was in his jacket pocket. The shooting was ruled justifiable homicide. Case closed. Very quick and buttoned up. Nah. Because even in 2016, we had a sister who had a restraining order against a dude who broke the restraining order, came to her house. All she did, and this was in a stand your ground fucking state, all she did was fire a warning shot into the air in her own house, and they gave her 26 years, bitches. And you're going to tell me she shoots Sam Cooke, a household name? And it's justifiable homicide, case closed, done. We're over it. Yep, that's what happened. But more telling, the record company isn't coming in and saying, because they've lost an asset. This is Sam Cooke. They've lost an asset. They're not going to have this be, no, case closed. That's all that happened. Bye-bye. Nothing to see here. There are many problems here. Let's start with Elisa Boyer. Right, the fact that her name is Elisa Boyer is a problem for me. She testified that she met Sam at a Hollywood dinner party and that he sang a song at the party. No mention of Martonis or PJs. She said she was, quote, kidnapped, unquote, by Sam and couldn't escape because his car was going too fast. No, bitch, because you said he went to pay at the thing and she was in the car. That's when you run. I can't. Well, let's read on. Yet, when Sam went to the motel... Okay, they're here. Yet, when Sam went to the motel window to register, the bitch was left alone in the car. She could have escaped or yelled for help. Remember I said, when does she yell, scream, and holler help? Yell for help. Moreover, if it was Sam's intention to rape Boyer, why would he have registered under his real name? That's a very good point. A very good point. I didn't think of that. And maybe I would have gotten to it, but I didn't get there. That's very important. Yeah, why would he register under his real name? You know? Boyer said she mistakenly took Sam's clothes from the room when she grabbed her own. Would it make sense that she was merely trying to prevent his pursuit? Yes, that's what I'm telling you. You see what I'm saying? Women get to take his pants, girl. You see what I'm saying? Then he can't come after you. Well, brothers will come after your ass. In draws and all. You see what I'm saying? But alas, here's something. Maybe she was trying to prevent his pursuit. And what about the wad of cash that she spied earlier in the night? Surely she knew right where it was. The truth about Boyer came out a month later when she was arrested in Hollywood for prostitution. I told you this was probably a whore and a prostitute. That's what I'm saying. The Hacienda Motel, which offers $3 per hour rates. Oh my God, I can't. So saying we just go by an hour. So tacky. Man, I can't. But that was 1964. You see. That's got to be $100 an hour now. You know. Which offered $3 per hour rates, was known as a hangout for hookers. What probably happened is that Sam paid for Boyer's services, and when he stepped into the bathroom, she ran out with his cash and credit cards. Amen. That's what I say. That's what I say. That's what I say. That still would not satisfy the landlord, what's the bitch's name? Bertha, goddammit. I can't. Bertha Franklin. So it. You can tell it. It's Bertha. So that Bertha Deb. It's Auntie Bertha. Yeah, but where does she come into all of this? Now, they did say that this hacienda is known to be a hangout for prostitution. So, Bertha would certainly know that. And I don't know, read on, Jedi. Read on. But goddammit, my sleuth hat is on. My sleuth hat is on, homie. In 1979, Boyer was found guilty of second-degree murder and death of a boyfriend. Bertha Franklin's ass, an ex-madam, with her own criminal record, was forced to quit her job after receiving several death threats. Just a second. Bertha's ass. If Bertha is the one that shot him. If. I say if. If. Because it's safe to assume and believe, quite frankly, that Sam Cooke would have been under some sort of surveillance. You know, being followed and all of it. And you know, Bertha could have been told to shut up. You know, are there any other witnesses at the hotel that heard all of this? Because they said he drove around the back. We assume Bertha's quarters are right up there where the damn office is. In front. Nobody heard anything. Nobody saw anything. Come on. Let's read on. She filed a $200,000 lawsuit against Sam Cooke's estate for punitive damages, injuries, but lost. Yeah, bitch, because they said you shot him justifiably. Now you gonna try and come and get more money? Nah. That was your vindication right there. In contrast to jail. Punitive damages and injuries. Well, he lost his life. As for Barbara Cooke, her husband's infidelity was nothing new to her, but she also had some action going on the side with a local bartender. Okay, go ahead, Barbara. On the day of Sam's funeral, this guy was seen wearing Sam's watch and his ring. Damn, it's tacky as hell. Christian folks, I can't. Oh my God. 2 months after Sam's death, Barbara had dumped the bartender and married Sam's friend and backup singer Bobby Womack. My father knew him. My father knew Bobby Womack. He used to tell us about Bobby Womack all the time. For Sam's part, he was always a womanizer. He, as his friend Bumps Blackwell once said, you see, they always got to reduce you into a sexual animal. You see, I can't, you know, and at the same time, I also got to be sick and tired of brothers who just stay your ass single. Period. Then you can have all the women you want. If you're going to be with a woman, damn it, you with her and her alone. As a friend Bumps Blackwell once said, quote, Sam would walk past a good girl to get to a whore. There were all kinds of theories around his death. Well, yeah, you know, I mean, leave the good girl alone. So I'm saying, if the one stand over there with her damn titties out, then that's the one. If you know, because you're not in it for love and commitment and longevity. But just don't be married. You know, there are all kinds of theories around his death. A drug deal involving someone close to Sam in which Sam tried to intervene. A mafia hit. A setup devised by a jealous Barbara Cooke. Many believe it was a racist plot in the entertainment business. As with any rising star, not to mention one of color in the early 1960s, Sam had made some enemies. As one woman friend of his said, quote, he was just getting too big for his britches for a suntan man. Was Sam Cooke lured into a trap at the Hacienda Hotel where Elisa Boyer, this fake Asian bitch, and Bertha Franklin, that fat slave, working in tandem? Was Barbara Cooke involved somehow? Or was it all just a tragic accident? Over the years, various investigators have made noise about reopening the case, but with most of the principal players dead and gone, it seems unlikely it will ever be solved. Well, I've got another one. Sam Cooke's 1964 murder case needs further exploration. You see, and there he is. That's an excellent picture. See how handsome he is? You see? This is important because, you know, some of the behavior that they describe about him, and frankly others, is if they look like Flavor Flav or something. The fact of the matter is, if you're a certain type of looking dude, you get a certain type of response from females. You just do. You see what I'm saying? So I'm saying, I should know. So I'm saying, as a model. So I'm saying, as a model. So I'm saying, a high paid, you're saying, supermodel myself. So I'm saying, I know the struggle that I had to go through. So I'm saying, just get from my car to a building. You feel me? Just, that's what I had to go through. So I'm saying, that's me. I can't with me. I should be shot, dude. I can't. I'm just saying. Plus, you must remember then, too, at that time. First of all, Sam Cooke's a handsome dude. But you must remember, at that time, men dressed up. There was none of this sloppiness that we see in the society now. You know, you were done. That was the clothing of the day. You see, a crisp shirt, these crisp shirts he's wearing, use cufflinks, you see, and things. This was the thing of the day. You know, beltless pants because they just fit around the waist and things like that. You know, go look at Marvin Gaye, you know, and things like this. So when you are a brother that looks a certain way, you get a certain attention from women, period. So this is not, you don't have to do desperate things that ugly dudes have to do. You just don't have to. Cooke died tragically 11th December 1964 at the age of 33. Yeah, because it was in the wee hours of the 11th. In the previous article, they cited December 10th. At the age of 33, Cooke rescued himself from what he considered to be financial insolvency by leaving the gospel industry, an industry that even in 2018 is still reputed to be outrageously frugal, for the more generous and profitable secular music industry. He admitted to Dick Clark when posed with the question, quote, "Why did you leave gospel?" responding, quote, "For financial reasons." Cooke also had greater plans and wanted to be a music industry executive. At the time of his death, Cooke was living in the Los Feliz section of Los Angeles. He entered the music industry at a time when it was completely ruled by corruption, broken legs, extremely shady deals, and ass-kickings. It was a dangerous world that many in the gospel industry thought the former gospel singer was selling his soul for. Some even prophesying his early demise. I'm over it with their prophesying. The gospel industry didn't see the bigger picture. Cooke had in mind, as his friend Lou Rawls stated, the gospel industry didn't see the bigger picture Cooke had in mind, as his friend Lou Rawls stated, quote, "Sam would have been the first Berry Gordy." Cooke said to be an astute businessman, wanted to create a vehicle for other black singers to get out of being pigeonholed on the Billboard R&B charts and chitlin circuits and to make the money for the work they deserved. You know, I just want to say, everybody, there would be no music industry in this bitch at all but for us. You know? And the moment we talk about we want a damn record deal or some shit like that, as soon as we see a white face, we need to run and run for our lives. How are we giving over shit that we own just by existing to these devils, or allowing them to be at the helm of anything? Why are we allowing this? He himself crossed over in the days when very few black artists had the opportunity. In addition, Cooke owned his work and masters, and that didn't sit well with some people, according to elders in the industry. Same thing with Michael Jackson. Same thing with Nipsey Hussle. We can't have Michael Jackson marching around there saying that Tommy Mottola and Sony is the devil, and that telling about all the wrong we've done to their black artists and trying to own, and he owns half of Sony, and we can't, and he's trying to do stuff for black people. Quit! Get him some propofol. We can't have Nipsey Hussle expanding his business. He's building playgrounds. He's building tech centers. He's owning land. My God, he owns the shopping center that he has his business. Quick, stage a shooting. It's the same shit. On the night that Sam Cooke was murdered, he had stopped by Lou Rawls' house to visit Lou Rawls' newborn baby, who would not stop crying. Interesting. What time was that? Huh? Rawls stated, by the way, for anybody who's not familiar with Lou Rawls, you'll never find another love like mine. I never could get into Lou Rawls. That's my truth. So sorry, but anyways, Rawls stated Cooke picked up the baby and said, "What's wrong, man?" But the baby continued to cry, and Rawls stated his German Shepherd, who was always under the baby's crib, got up and left when Cooke came by as if he knew something was wrong. Rawls' mother later revealed to him that babies and animals have a keen, oh my God, I could cry at this, have a keen sense when someone is about to die or tragedy is about to occur. I want to say this, y'all. I can't read that and not say this. Since I've been on earth, I've said to people, babies and animals love me. Babies that will not stop crying, that have never met me, I can look at them and they start cooing. I'm telling you my truth. I don't need you to believe it. I don't need you to. The sky is still going to be blue. You see? You don't got to acknowledge it. You don't got to accept it. But kids and animals have always loved me. You know, there was this one place I used to live years ago, and I actually managed the property I lived on. But there was one of the tenants that lived down the way from me had these two little Chihuahua dogs. They weren't. I feel like they were. I don't know. I'm gonna call them Chihuahuas. And they bark at everybody. You know, and all the, you know. And I just had it one day. And so I was coming in, and I there they are, and they're doing their barking. I just went up to them finally, and they just start wagging their tails. And I stuck my hand through the gate, and they were licking my hand and growling. While licking my hand, like they were so conflicted. They're so used to howling and growling and barking and all this, and now they were licking my hand and competing with each other for licking my hand. It was the funniest thing. I was like, I thought you guys were supposed to be so tough, you know. But I've always gotten that. And then also, I'll say this too, you know, when I had been diagnosed with prostate cancer, I was diagnosed with prostate cancer before I got injured in 2010. And so I got the diagnosis. Now I get injured. Now I'm in a wheelchair for nearly a year. Well, one of my friends had, I don't know what that dog is. I'm going to call it a German Shepherd. I don't know what that is. Because I don't know dogs. I don't know big dogs. And I don't know. But anyways. But I noticed that dog, before I was hurt and I would see Kato, he was one way. But now I was in the wheelchair, he would always come up and be smelling my crotch. Like I'm sitting in my wheelchair, he would always want to try and stick his nose in my crotch. I'm like, what are you doing, dude? Like, get back. You know, but they say that animals can smell illness, you know. And at some point before I was out of my wheelchair, I noticed he stopped doing it. He on his own stopped doing it. And then shortly thereafter, I got another biopsy, and they said they found nothing, you know. So I could testify that whole paragraph right there with my own life, you know. That's real. Anyway, so and then just the fact that he said Rawls' mother later revealed that the babies and animals have been, you know, so she's from the old school, just like ancient antiquity, you know, like a lot of stuff my grandmother would do when we were growing up. If you had an earache, they pour sweet oil in your ear. If your ear was stopped up or something like that, just whatever. They just all these ancient things, like that connection to the universe and its energy and its signs, its guidance, all those things. So she is, the further you go back with grandmamas and mamas, you find that generation that so of course she would say that. She would be aware of that. His mother revealed to him that babies and animals have a keen sense of when someone is about to die or tragedy about to occur. Rawls stated even after Cook left, his son would not stop crying, and he told Sam he couldn't go to PJ's because he thought his son was sick. Sam stopped by, so that means Sam stopped by there before he met with the Schmidts. So that means the heifer was probably in the car, because they didn't go to PJ's until after they left the place where Martoli's or whatever. So they leave Martoli's on their way to PJ's, and they stop by Lou Rawls' house. Huh? She didn't mention that. Stop crying. Sam told Sam he couldn't go to PJ's because he thought, okay, Sam stopped by Martoli's restaurant. Wait now. Sam stopped by Martoli's restaurant in San Fernando Valley outside of Los Angeles first to meet friends for, okay, alright, fine, never mind then. Throw out everything I just said then. Martoli's restaurant in San Fernando Valley outside of Los Angeles first to meet friends for dinner, and that's where he spotted an attractive Asian woman sitting with three men by the name of Elisa Boyer, who was 22 at the time. Well, first of all, where'd these three men go? And by the way, I've lived in the San Fernando Valley, everybody, when I lived in California. I lived in the valley. I've lived in the valley. Yes, I have. Thank you so much. So where'd these three men go? Within no time, Sam was cuddled up with Boyer in the booth. Not much was said about the three men, but okay, there you go. Not much was said about the three men, but Sam was with her and hanging out with some music industry people who were also there at the time. You see? So he's Sam Cooke. You're at Martoli's. You don't think you're there because he wants to have conversation, heifer? She had plans to rob him. And I suggest to you that these three men were somehow maybe following them or somehow involved in something else, It just gets into an area, dude. I can't. It's just like now they want you to believe this one dude just came up and shot Nipsey and that's the end of it. Case closed. We're over it. No. That's too simple. And it's intellectually lazy for you to just end there. And I'm seeing too many black folk that are just saying this is some nigga shit. That's why it happened. Well, you can die off. You see, because the intellectual seeks for deeper meaning when it's clearly available. Not you're just pulling things out of the sky. You can't ignore the part that's heaviest on the scale. It's not clear if this or PJ's is where he met up with the KDAY DJs. Okay. But he and Boyer eventually left and went to PJ's. Well, if they went to PJ's, then he couldn't have met them there. He must, I don't know. He must have met them at Martoli's. What's the sentence? It's not clear if this, meaning Martoli's or PJ's, is where he met these DJs. But he and this bitch eventually left and went to PJ's. So, if you're mentioning them before he gets to PJ's, then he met them at Martoli's. I can't. The bar was a hangout for entertainers in LA, and Sam allegedly got into a heated argument with a few men in the club who were hitting on Boyer, and Boyer stated she asked Sam to take her home around 2 a.m. Just a second. this PJ's bar was a hangout for entertainers in LA. So these wouldn't have just been nondescript ass people. You know? It sounds at least mildly exclusive to some degree. And so anybody hitting on her would have just been like a hit on her. She would have rejected it. It would have been like over her ass. You know. But they say they allegedly got into a heated argument with a few men in the club who were hitting on Boyer. Well, how do we know these weren't the same 3 men that were at Martoli's with her? Because it says a few men. It's one thing you go into a spot and you get in an argument with one dude, but a few men? Nah. It sounds stretched to me. And you know, somebody like that, if she just a piece, I don't see you defending her all like that. You know, like I don't know. Let us read on. She has to take her home around 2 a.m. Knowing Sam was inebriated and agitated, instead of calling a cab, she willingly got into Cook's new Ferrari and said he was speeding on the 101 freeway. Just a damn second. You could have called a cab, heifer. This is PJ's. It's a known hangout for entertainers. They probably have taxis sitting in the front. Yeah, valet and everything. You know. I need Sam to take me home. Nah. And he's in a new Ferrari. Stop it, heifer. He was speeding on the 101 freeway. Well, that doesn't have any weight because if you're in a Ferrari, you speed. Damn it. And it's 2 a.m. in the morning, you're speeding. Just because you're in a Ferrari. You don't drive like grandma in a Ferrari. Nobody does that. That's what I'm saying. If so, you take the keys. She stated Sam got on the freeway against her request, her repeated request, to take her home. Wait just a second. He just met you at Martoli's. He don't know where you live. How would he know to get on the freeway or not get on the freeway? There's no testimony of you stating where you live. Where you live, heifer? Where you stay at? Repeatedly requested him to take her home and was driving towards the hood to go to the well-known sleazy motel Hacienda Heights. Notorious for one-night stands and 1-hour rentals. They're notorious for one night. So that means her ass knew it too. Probably, you know, it was not beyond the scope to say she knew of this Hacienda Heights. Why would he go there? Why? If you telling me, because listen, when men have sex and it ain't your girl, so we gonna say you single, we like to go to the least amount of resistance. If we can go to your crib, that's cool. I'll take you home. Unless you've articulated we can't go to my house. Why would I take you to a motel where I'm Sam Cooke, I'm going to be seen, I got to check in, I got to pay money, when we could just go to your crib? You know. Maybe she couldn't go to his crib. Maybe she wanted to go to his crib, and maybe he said, no, we can't go to my crib because I'm married. So the Hacienda is where you end up at. I don't know. But my point is that thus far there's been no articulation that she's saying where she lives and that we could have gone to my house and this and the third. You know, like it's just nah. you know. He got on the freeway against her repeated request to take her home and was driving towards the hood. How do you know that's the hood? So you don't live in the hood? Man. Cook and his wife were living separate lives because of the death of their youngest son, who drowned in the family pool. Cook blamed his wife Barbara, but also felt guilty for not being there. The marriage was in shambles, and there were reports of extramarital activity on both ends of the story. But the story continues to take more strange turns. I can't read. The marriage was in shambles, and there was reports of extramarital activity on both ends, but the story continues to take more strange turns. Damn, I can't read. And there's Bertha. Once Cook and this whore arrived at the hotel, Cook got out of the car, leaving her alone in the passenger seat. And it's a Ferrari. While he went to register for the hotel room, the clerk, Bertha Franklin, peered to the side of Cook and saw Boyer in the car and informed him that he would have to register as Mr. and Mrs. Bertha Franklin. This was a pristine opportunity for Boyer to escape, or to signal to Bertha that her ass was in trouble unless they were working together. After all, Cook was registering for a sleazy motel. If she thought she was in danger, as she later stated in the short trial wearing dark glasses on the stand during her testimony, something that would never be allowed today, by the way, why didn't she use this opportunity to get away? It appeared she was not telling the whole story. Cook's attorney barely had a chance to question her or anyone else, as the trial was very brief and one-sided according to witnesses. Boyer stated that Cook dragged her into the room. Huh? Well, where's the markings on her feet and her legs and all of it? What was she wearing? While drunk, and took off his clothes and then proceeded to take off. And took off his clothes, and then he proceeded to take off her sweater and skirt, leaving her on. That's not what she said. That's not what we read earlier. Said he ripped her clothes off. And when she came out the bathroom, he was now undressed. Now they say that he took off his clothes, and then he proceeded to take off her sweater and skirt, leaving her on the bed with her bra and panties on. She stated she was sure he was about to rape her, but then he stopped and went to the bathroom. I'm over it. If he went to the bathroom, that means he's not there to rape you, dude. I'm over it. Nobody stops to go to the bathroom during a rape. I can't. Even women close to the situation on Sam's behalf stated that's not how situations like this go. Okay, thank you. There were the days before rape kits and DNA. These were the days before rape kits and DNA. So this part of the investigation was never completed, and it was never determined if Cook and Boyer had actually had sex. Damn it. Cook was always said to carry at least $2,000 in cash in his wallet, which in 1964 was like 20 grand. We're talking about a time when the average rent for an apartment was $75 to $100 a month. I need 1964 in this bitch. Damn! What changed? What changed? Listen. It's just a fleecing of America, everybody. If landlords got by buy on $75 a month then, why can't they do it now? And so we imagine if rent was $75 to $100, we know gas and electric must have been way cheaper. If they got by on it then, there's more people on earth now, and certainly in the nation, there's more people to pay for it. The price go down of everything. You can get a DVD player now for like $10, brand new. Everybody knows when it come on the market, they don't know, so the price is high. And then once it's being put, then the price go down. Why is it? I can't. I want $75 rent. I'm not paying my rent next month. Since he had been buying drinks and dinner and was inebriated, there is no question that this whore saw the wad of cash he was carrying. However, after the murder took place and she left the pants on the street, they found a money clip with a mere $108 in it, and all of his credit cards were missing. This makes no sense. If someone found a wallet full of cash on the street, why would they leave $108, moreover, still in the clip, unless they wanted it to look like robbery was not a motive? Just a second. They said the $108 was found in his jacket. She never said that came with her. Just the pants. And I already laid out my case for that. So they have it wrong or something. Because they say she left the pants on the street. That's consistent with what we've already read. No mention of the jacket. That's fine. So that's why it wasn't there, because the $108 was in the hotel. It was with him. It wasn't with, okay, so throw that out. The whore stated she grabbed her clothes and his when she ran out the room when he went to the bathroom. If he disrobed first, wouldn't her clothes have been easily accessible by being on top of his? That's a good point. But it's inconsistent with what they said earlier. So I'm saying they're the bitch is trying to give the Jackie O. Trying to give the Jackie O look. I can't, bitch. Stop it. Go eat a wonton and tell the truth. 16 December 1964, Los Angeles, California. Witness an alleged prostitute and whore, and the bitch needs to die. Elisa Boyer, wearing a disguise, testifies during the coroner's inquest of the murder of soul singer Sam Cooke. Many historians state this was a quick and racist trial as today. Nobody would be able to wear a disguise / glasses on the stand. A recording of Boyer's testimony appears to be dishonest and calculated. She had no emotion, which led many to believe she and Bertha were working in concert to have Sam murdered. I don't know about that working together thing. I'm not convicted on that. This is the whore. And she don't look like nothing. The woman, the whore, who allegedly helped to set up Sam Cooke's murder. Years later, she was arrested for killing her husband in 1979. It is alleged the motel ran a prostitution ring, and Bertha Lee, the manager, was a pimp, and Elisa was one of her whores. Well, she's definitely a whore. We just don't know which one. Cooke's actions when he discovered his wallet and clothes were missing. Upon returning from the bathroom, according to the desk clerk, a portly 55-year-old former madam by the name of Bertha, didn't add up either. She stated he banged on the office door looking for the woman, completely naked except for one shoe and a suit jacket. Today, the first thing that would be done is a toxicology report on Cooke's blood, and there is a very good chance it would have discovered he was probably slipped a Mickey or some other drug by his alleged bizarre actions. Wouldn't even a drunk person wrap themselves in a sheet instead of walking to the office naked? That's true. She stated he got physical with her and they fell to the floor. She was 30 pounds heavier than him and managed to wrestle herself away from the drunk Cook and ran to grab the gun off the top of the fridge. Now it's the fridge. First it was the television. Now it's the fridge, everybody. And she shot at him 3 times. She missed twice, but pierced his heart with the 3rd bullet, killing him. Again, no mention of the 2 lungs and left to right and the 3rd bullet pierced his heart with the 3rd bullet killing him. She stated her lunge, I think they meant he lunged, they did proofread. She stated he lunged at her one last time and she hit him with a broomstick. Why not just shoot him again? Right. So you're still holding the gun. You've shot him. Now you gotta wait. Let me put this down and get a broom. Nah, bitch. Nah. I agree with that statement. Why not just shoot him again? His last words, according to her fat ass, is, quote, "Lady, you shot me." Franklin's fat ass later smiled when asked to take a picture for the press after the murder. Where was that picture at? Whatever, we seen it. We seen her bitch ass grinning. Singer Etta James went to view Cook's corpse and immediately knew the whole story was not being told. She stated Sam was so badly beaten, he was almost decapitated, and both of his hands were bruised and completely crushed, as if he had been in a fight for his life. Wow. In addition, she said his nose was mangled. Some have speculated Sam was set up and robbed by Boyer and Franklin. In addition, I don't believe that. Now I don't believe that. I'm going with Etta James. And maybe that's why they didn't invite her to sing at Obama's inaugural when she was still alive. And they got Beyonce instead to sing an Etta James song when Etta James is still fucking living and breathing and can sing. I'm over it. Oh my God, don't get worked up, Jedi. In addition, she said the nose had been mangled. Some speculated Sam was set up by the fat bitch and the whore. In addition, Cook was placed in a coffin with a glass top, preventing people from touching him or examining why he had on heavy makeup. So apparently Etta James saw him before the funeral. Boyer, the whore, was arrested just a few months after Cook's death for prostitution, and she ended up getting arrested again for murdering her husband in 1979. No word on what happened to fat-ass Bertha, except that she moved because of numerous death threats. She turned around and sued Sam Cooke's estate for killing him for $200,000, like $1 million in the 1960s, for anguish and physical injuries that it took for her to kill him. She was awarded $30,000 as a settlement. I can't. I'm in the wrong business, everybody. I'm in the wrong fucking business. You know what I'm saying? I need to bring charges against somebody so I can just get paid. You know what I'm saying? The bitch got $30,000 as a settlement. It is beyond evident. There is a lot more to this story. Cook would be 86 if he was still alive today. When is this article written? Okay, it's 2018, so it would have been 87. So Cook would be 86 if he was still alive today. So 87. All right. Some speculate that Cook's former manager, Alan Klein, a Zionist name, may have had some involvement in the situation. I can't imagine a Zionist Jew would be involved with such a shady thing. I won't listen. Klein had Cook sign an agreement for a company he created called Tracy Ltd, named after Cook's daughter, that would allow Cook to be spared of IRS scrutiny, but that greatly benefited Klein as the owner of Sam's work if he died. Sam's wife, Barbara, ended up selling the remainder of Sam's work to Klein. Damn it, Barbara. Should have been somebody there to snatch her back and say, bitch, if you dare say this to the white man. We're not having it. Cook's life and everybody involved with him were in shambles. His wife and he were living separate lives in their home in LA and were on the verge of divorce. His first wife died in a car accident. His mentee before he died, 21-year-old Bobby Womack, ended up marrying his wife, Barbara, just 3 months after Cook's death in 1960. After his Cook's death in 1965. I don't know what they're saying. Just 3 months after his mentee died. His mentee before him, Bobby Womack, ended up married wife just 3 months after Cook's death. I don't know what they're saying there. Fuck it, I'm over it. Because we know this happened in 1964. Getting blackballed in the industry, I'm over it. Barbara allegedly found out Bobby and her then 18-year-old daughter by Cook were having an affair. Good, bitch. In 1970, and she divorced him. That's what you get. Then her daughter ended up marrying Womack's younger brother. Damn, y'all are scandalous. Cecil, and they formed the singing group Womack and Women, and had the hit single Baby, I'm Scared of You in the 80s. Finally, Bobby lost several of his kids tragically as well, and ended up with a severe cocaine habit in the 1980s. Points to consider: was Sam set up by the two women and led to the hacienda for a trap where the three men were at the bar were waiting in the room to beat Cook to death? That's a very plausible theory. Was Elias Boyer, the whore, one of the fat bitch's whores? Who were the three men at the bar with the whore? Why was the money left in the clip? Because I say she didn't find it. What happened to so that would exclude the men then from being there? I can't. And it would also suggest, I don't want to go into it. Anyways, what happened to the credit cards? Did Boyer take a lie detector test? Are any of the whore's clothes still in evidence? Did Cook's manager, Alan Klein, the Zionist Jew, have anything to do with the situation? I think it's all plausible. These are comments. I don't know if you read that. I can't, everybody. I can't. I think it's more plausible. Once we saw that statement from Etta James, to me that changed everything. People don't, and especially black people, certainly not in Etta James, we aren't into defacing and defiling the dead like white people are. We see they're digging Michael Jackson out of the grave and literally want to dig him out of the grave. Literally. Like I saw something Marcus, I think, sent me, and I was too angry to do anything about it, so I just couldn't bring it to you. I tried doing the video and it was too furious. You see what I'm saying? But I think that I don't see Etta James saying that his corpse looked a certain way if it didn't look that way. It just wouldn't happen. Period. Just wouldn't. Okay, I have one more, and I'm just going to see if that just is just reiterating the same thing, and if so, we'll just be over it. Intermission. The death of Sam Cooke. This article is from 2010, 16 November. Oh, that's okay. So you would know this one. Cupid, draw back your bow and let your arrow go straight to my lover's heart. You see, that's the lyrics right there. Straight to my lover's heart. For me, Cupid, draw back, please hear my cry, and let your arrow fly straight to my lover's heart for me. Cupid, yeah, Cupid. Not the Cupid shuffle. Settle down. All right. Settle down. Well, we'll look at this, and if it's a rehashing of the same thing, then we'll just wait. What's this? No caption for the picture, bruh? All right, I'm gonna enlarge that. And again, there's a great picture of him. He's a handsome guy, man. That's a handsome dude. And remember, this is 1964, so he would have been like the it dude, like an it. You see, like but I don't want to discount him even that way. Like I think he would be a handsome guy for 1964, and he'd be a handsome guy for 2019. You know what I mean? But I'm just trying to stress to you that when you go back and even look at the people that they were screaming over, you know, when you see our artists out there and they're screaming over them, you look at how they look. You know, the standard of what was attractive was just different. Or I don't want to say different. I want to say I don't know what the word is. It's not different. I don't want to say different. I just don't know the word. Anyways, my overall point is that this was a good looking guy, and so you don't need to resort to some dowdy bitch like this. He's Sam Cooke on top of that. So he looks like that, and you're Sam Cooke. Muhammad Ali, very handsome. And you're Muhammad Ali. You see, you look a certain way, and I don't know how tall was Sam Cooke. Let's ask the white Eva. Because if you tall, that adds to it. You see what I'm saying? How tall was Sam Cooke?
Sam Cooke was 5 feet 10 inches tall.
So he's 5'10". He's the same height as Michael Jackson. You know. On Thursday, 10 December 1964, 33-year-old Sam Cooke introduced himself to the whore at Martoli's, okay, after several drinks, blah, 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 at 2 a.m. No one besides the whore knew the nature of their plans upon leaving PJ's, but considering the whore's reputation with men at the Sunset Strip hotspot, along with Cooke's reported uncontrollable sex drive, it is not unreasonable to assume that the couple went in search of a bed. Again, a man's first inclination is not to go to some damn hotel. It's only if you ain't got a spot, or he ain't got a spot. You see? Okay, we'll get a hotel. You know what I'm saying? They passed a number of hotels and motels during their 17-mile drive. The whore later said he drove fast and recklessly. Oh, now she adds recklessly. Now we see that. They ended up at the Hacienda. It's $3 a night. 55-year-old Bertha, fat ass. All the boy later claimed. Franklin pointed out that her Okay,
policy?
I started talking very loudly. Please take me home. Okay, wait, this is new. The whore claimed that when she and Cook got inside the motel, he became aggressive and he stripped her to her underwear. I started talking very loudly. Please take me home. But you didn't scream, bitch. And this is the hacienda. And by their account, this is not where people go to get a good night's rest. Nah. What night of the week was this? Tuesday. No, that's the day of the article, damn it. A Thursday. This is a Thursday night. A Thursday into a Friday. Alright. Doesn't matter. Sex don't have no date. Please take me home. So somebody would have heard her. You see what I'm saying? She didn't. The lying whore. Please take me home. The lying whore later told police. He pinned me on the bed. He kept saying, "We're just gonna talk." He pulled my sweater off. Wait, and ripped my dress. Just a second. You said he became aggressive and stripped her to her underwear. Bitch, how do you have on a sweater now? And a dress? This is so inconsistent, dude. I say lock the bitch up just on lies. I knew he was gonna rape me. At that point, Cook went into the bathroom to relieve himself, because you always stop to take a leak when you're in the middle of a rape, apparently. When he emerged, the whore was gone, and as was most of his clothing and his wallet. According to the whore, when Cook stepped into the bathroom for a moment, she quickly grabbed her clothes and ran from the room. She claimed that in her haste, she had also scooped up most of Cook's clothing by mistake. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. Because men's clothing doesn't even feel like women's clothing. To touch it, you would know you've got something foreign in your hand. Stop it. The whore then ran to the motel manager's office and pounded on the door, but the fat whore did not answer because she was on the phone with the hotel owner. You're on the phone with the hotel owner at 2-something in the morning? It's not believable. It's not believable. Evelyn Carr. They named the owner. With the hotel owner, Evelyn Carr. So, the whore, in fear that Cook would find her, fled to a nearby payphone and called police. Her call was logged in at 3:08 a.m. So we're to believe that Fat Bertha is on the phone with the hotel owner at 3 in the morning? I don't believe you. Will you please come down to this number? I don't know where I am. I'm kidnapped, she told police. She said she had escaped in her underwear and stopped in a stairwell to dress. Now she's in the stairwell getting dressed. First it was on the street. You see, I can't. Meanwhile, Cook, dressed only in a sports jacket and shoes, jumped in his car and sped around to the front of the motel. So that means he's got to get car keys and be able to put key in ignition. It's a Ferrari. There's a lot of blind spots. Back out. Turn. You say, come on. This is not the actions of a drunk man. And this is the first we're hearing of. Jumped in his car and sped around to the front of the hotel to try to find the whore. In his drunken rage, which I don't think it was drunken, he assumed she had gone back to the office. "Where's the girl?" he yelled as he pounded on the office door. fat ass Franklin, who was still on the phone, allegedly, with the owner, went to the door and said she didn't know. Nah. You wouldn't ask what girl? Who are you? As soon as she knows Sam Cooke, she would open the door. I can't with this. She went to the door and said she didn't know, but she didn't open the door. According to your fat ass. Cooke kicked his way through the door and grabbed Franklin by the arms. I can't. We got in a tussle. Frank, the fat whore, told police. We fell on the floor. I tried to bite him through that jacket. I like to see teeth marks on the jacket. I'm going to need that. I'm going to need that. The fat bitch broke free and fetched the .22 pistol she kept on hand. From where? She pointed it at, because first it was on TV, then it was on the refrigerator. Now she retrieved it, that she kept on hand. She pointed it at Cooke and squeezed the trigger 3 times. One of the shots pierced his heart. According to the fat whore, his final words were, "Lady, you shot me," before mounting a last charge at her. She said that she then beat him over the head with a broomstick before he finally fell, mortally wounded by the gunshot. Nah. Nobody puts down a gun to pick up a broom. I can't. Not only that, that would be a way to insert the beating. You know, like I hit him over the head. So that by the time that Etta James shows up and sees that he looks like he's been in the fight of his life, well, it was the broomstick. It was the fat whore. She did it. Nah. You got to get up early and stay up late to pull it over on the Jedi, which means you will never sleep. The motel owner was an earwitness to the shooting. She listened in as the fat bitch put down the phone and went through the ordeal with Cooke. After hearing the shots, the owner hung up and phoned police at about 3:15. "I think she shot him," Carr said. Police cars with sirens wailing raced to the scene, and officers found Sam Cooke dead. His Ferrari was still outside the office. The driver's door open and the engine running. Well, that could be somebody being forced from their car at gunpoint, too. A few minutes after police arrived, the whore walked up and presented herself as the victim. Police found a bottle of scotch in the Ferrari. So what? They were inventory. They also inventory. I can't read. They also inventory Cooke's property: a wristwatch, a money clip with $108, and some loose change. A thin wallet in which Cooke carried credit cards and his driver's license were never found. Huh? So they didn't ask her ass, where is, Witnesses at Martoni's said he had a wad of perhaps $1,000, but that money was never recovered either, because the whore had it. Police searched the whore's purse, but found only a single $20 bill. She could have stuffed the rest in her damn Gucci. The whore's story of what happened the night of Cooke's death has been called into question because of Cooke's missing money, and the fact that only a month after Cooke was shot, the whore was arrested for prostitution at a Hollywood motel after agreeing by phone to have sex with an undercover cop for $40 fucking. I can't. She's a cheap whore. There was speculation over the possibility that the whore may have gone willingly to the motel with Cook, then slipped out of the room with Cook's clothing in order to rob him, rather than to escape an attempted rape, which that sounds more plausible, because he went to the bathroom. However, such questions were ultimately deemed beyond the scope of the investigation, whose purpose was to establish the circumstances of the fat bitch's role in the shooting, not to determine precisely what had transpired between Cook and the whore preceding the event. Also, when an attorney, that still would be material to the case, because this would be precipitous of Franklin's actions. But for this whore running or robbing him, he would not be at Franklin's door saying, "Where's the girl?" if this even happened. So that's not beyond the scope of the investigation. It's just they chose to only look at one thing, if that's what happened. And we proclaim it didn't. Whose purpose was to establish, not to determine precisely what happened, preceding the event. Also, when an attorney hired by Cook's family tried to inquire about what the whore did for a living, the prosecutor responded, "We're not concerned with the occupation of the girl," end quote. Because she's a whore. She's a whore. An Asian whore. Police officials testified that both the whore and the fat bitch had passed lie detector tests. The jurors took 15 minutes to rule the shooting justifiable to protect life, limb, and property. Cook's family still believed there was some sort of cover-up and that evidence was suppressed. They maintained that there was a conspiracy to murder Cook and that the murder took place in some manner entirely different from the three official accounts. They hired a private investigator who uncovered the following information. 1. Cook had dated the whore 3 weeks prior to his murder, despite the fact that numerous people warned him about her colorful past, which included prostitution. And 2, the fat bitch had a 32 registered in her name, yet she killed Cook with a 22. Additionally, singer Etta James revealed in her book, Rage to Survive, that when she viewed Sam's body in the funeral home, he was so badly beaten that his head was decapitated from his shoulders. His hands were broken and crushed, his nose was smashed, and he had a 2-inch bump on his head. These injuries were never explained, and some found it hard to believe that a 55-year-old fat bitch could inflict these types of injuries. Cook, as police found him above. Alright, I said I would enlarge this. We can't really see anything. This does seem to be a door frame that's kicked in or damaged in some regard. How do we know he wasn't running from someone? You know, I mean, I hate it, dude. I hate it. I hate it. I can't. In 1979, the whore was found guilty of second-degree murder and shooting to death of her boyfriend. The fat bitch moved to Michigan and died at 18 months after Cook's passing. No concrete evidence supporting a conspiracy theory had ever been presented to date. It is rumored that Dennis Wilson from the Beach Boys later bought Cook's red Ferrari. Wilson was a huge Cook fan, and supposedly he would drive around in the car and listen to Cook's records. I'm also a huge fan, whoever the writer of this article says. I guess that's the writer saying it. I don't know. Like I say, I always have to go to motive and who stands to gain. You know, just the fact that the family uncovered this detail that they dated 3 months or whatever it was. What was it? The horror 3 weeks prior to his murder. You know, somebody could have got to her, and I mean, I don't know. You know, it seems like the only thing that's concrete here is that he was at the Hacienda Hotel. You know, why was he there? We don't know. You know, do we even know that he was killed there, for that matter? You know, 1964 was a different time for women too. So if men told you to shut up, they probably would. You know, so I could see Bertha saying whatever they told her to say, because they said that she had a 30. Well, they say she had a 32 registered to her, but yet he was killed with a 22. So that right there is very, you know, suspect. What were the police carrying at the time? Were they carrying 22s? You know, how we know they didn't shoot him? It's just all so suspicious, man. But as I say, I brought this because here you had somebody who was bucking the system and who was attaining some level of power, and that does not ever sit well with white supremacy. You know, it's like they thrive off of us needing them, you know, and then their fear of competition with us, you know, as Lincoln said, you know, that he said it's best if we just send them back to Africa because otherwise it's best for them and for us because we will never get along. I'm paraphrasing his words, you know, we'll never get along. So, and then we'll be forced to compete with them. And by then they knew our potential because they had seen us in our true expression. They know what we're capable of. You know, we had already built societies and kingdoms and everything else. And these are the people we're going to have to compete against. We're inferior white-ass people. We'll never be able to beat them. You know, they knew that. So, I don't know. But he was 33. You know, and so was Nipsey Hussle. You know, he was also 33. And I just thought that was remarkable to point out and bring forth, you know. But it's also, as in the case of Nipsey and everybody else, anybody else that's out there, I don't care if you're an athlete or a singer or whatever you do, an actor, you need to get rid of these white people around you because it's, you can read your own. You have to take the word of those that aren't your own. You see? You can read your own. The white man has always come with that fake grin. That's why there's 130 million natives that were killed off this land. They came here with the fake grin first, you know, and then murdered them off. And I just think that, you know, given our history and our current state of affairs with these people, it doesn't serve you to have any of them in your midst. I don't care how good they say their intentions are. Just show them the history and say, the history says I can't trust you. You know, you might be a good person. You just might. You just might, but I'll never know it. You know, I can't be the one to take the chance. I can't. I can't. You know, because we always see, you see it with athletes, you see it with these singers and musicians and all this kind of stuff, and you know they this one white person that they think is in their corner, and this is the so and so, they doing so and so, and that person's grinning and they doing all this stuff for you and all this. And you just got to be willing to say, nah, if I can't step over a black bridge, I ain't stepping. I can't. The history's too bad. You understand? You watch the Indy 500 or something like that. They build these cars to withstand multiple flipovers and rolls and burst into flames and everything. They walk away from it. Because at some point in the past, they realize drivers die when the accidents happen. We have to build a body cage around them. And the cars have to be made of nothing. You see? So they did that because they saw what happens. Every time a plane goes down, first thing they send the NTSB out there immediately. We got to find out why this plane crashed, because this can never happen. Because that's hundreds of millions of dollars that just went down before we even get to the lives. We have to know what happened so that it can never happen again. Yet, they want you to continue to play the same scratch record when it comes to dealing with them. Just because they say so. Trust us now. We're all the same. Diversity. Because they say so? You're supposed to throw out all these centuries of history of their continuous evil because they say so. I think not. And so I think I'll make this my closing argument to the last points that I've made, quite frankly. You know, when I opened the video, I opened up with a trailer, and presumably this is what it's from. That's actually called The Two Killings of Sam Cooke. All right. So this is The Guardian, but it's citing Netflix and Quill Television, whatever. Too Black, Too Strong. Who Killed Sam Cooke? Remastered. The Two Killings of Sam Cooke, the story of an artist activist whose murder is yet to be investigated. It's very significant. Not solved, but is yet to even be investigated. Huh? We already heard about the rushed trial, the rushed, you know, that, you know, the family's attorney didn't even get to ask any questions and all of it, you know. And also something else I didn't point out is when the whore, wait y'all, I'm under attack. Wait, no. I hate this thing. Anyways, when the whore runs to the telephone to call the police, she says, I don't know where I am. But the hacienda is known, according to the information we read. I can't with this, you know. It's like Bob Marley's song says, how long shall they kill our prophets while we stand aside and look? You know? Ellen E. Jones. This is from the Guardian. All right. So, he was born, as the song says, by a river in a little tent. I was born by the river in a little tent. Wow. But other details of Sam Cooke's biography are less familiar. Most remember the smooth voice of You Send Me and A Change Is Gonna Come. You know, and I want to interject this too, because I saw where there's an attorney in Washington, D.C. that's bringing a lawsuit against the government for the gentrification that's going on. I foresee a class action lawsuit by African people on YouTube for them suppressing our freedom of fucking speech. You understand? As you guys know, I'm trying to move to Africa, so I have monetized my channel. I haven't made $2 on my fucking channel. Why? Because anything I put out, they say it's not advertiser friendly. Because anything that has to do with us, they claim is not advertiser friendly, which we know is a lie. Because all you got to do is watch regular TV, and you see them advertising on anything that you watch. You understand me? There's pornography on YouTube. There's all kinds of stuff that's been up for years, and a lot of that stuff I've downloaded to my damn computer so that I can present that in a court of law. It's just like when I sued my very, 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 very first ever real employer. I was working for a fast food chain. And me and my sister were the only two black people that worked there. It had been there for 8 years. Nobody black had worked there. They hired me and her both at the same time. They were just going to get their quota out of the way in one clip. You see? But my point is, when I went to sue them after they fired me after 3 years, and I had to bully my way into management, why I was successful in my lawsuit is because one of the things that I had to file with was the EEOC, the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. And what they're mainly looking at is, can you show contrast of where somebody white did something exactly like you did and there was no consequence, and you did it and there was. So all Africans under the sound of my voice that have ever had their channel struck in, I've had 2 channels shut down, all the bullshit. YouTube is just an entity and we know where their fucking building is. Do you understand? It's time that we fucking strike back and bring a class action lawsuit against their ass. If we're not going to be on this bitch and have free speech, goddammit, ain't nobody going to be on this bitch. And let us understand that YouTube had its beginnings with the Janet Jackson Nipplegate. You want a receipt? I always tell you, the Jedi does not need to make any claims. And you should never either. The truth is always strong enough to stand on its own. How the Jedi's wife's Super Bowl wardrobe malfunction helped start, goddammit, YouTube. How many of us knew this? You see, that's why I tell you, you can never watch you can never just see the title of a video of mine. Because there's not enough space to describe, and even in the description, you don't want to sit there and type all that out because nobody really reads the description of a video. Yeah, they barely can go to a link if you put it in there, unless that's all the video is about or something, And so, and yet we're the ones they treat the worst. You see, economic suppression right here on this bitch. Right here. Right here. And let's not get into Googling the percentage of African Americans employed by Google or YouTube / Google. You see? The halftime show at Super Bowl, whatever number, has gone down in history as one of the most memorable incidents since the creation of television, and it isn't likely to be forgotten anytime soon. Let's bring this in a little bit. No, I don't need to. I'm over it. All right. The program was a collaborative effort, bringing together several of 2004's biggest pop stars, including Britney Spears, Kid Rock, Nelly, P. Diddy, and of course, Justin Timberlake, and my wife. When Timberlake neared the end of the single Rock Your Body and tore off a piece of Janet's bustier, the world changed forever, dramatic as that may sound. Because it was a black woman's breast. If that had been, some white Charlize Theron or any of these white heifers that are allegedly beautiful, allegedly, high quotations and highlights, allegedly, it would have been, oh my God, it just would have been a totally, no one would remember. Nobody would remember. Nobody would remember. We all know that immediately following Nipplegate, the FCC received a record number of complaints only from white people about indecency. And the NFL, CBS, and MTV, who executive produced the show, immediately, and are all white devils, immediately changed their policies, because they always change the rules for black people, and that's the only reason why rules and policies are ever made, on working with artists in live settings. Everybody remembers the backlash. But what about the positives? Was it really positive? Because it wasn't for Janet then, and it ain't for us now. You see, unless you some alphabet you want to get on here, or you some ghetto ass heifer that wants to sit up and drink wine on your damn video, or you want to tear black people down for no reason at all, you see, you're fine. You want to be putting on bundles and wigs and a bunch of makeup and all the bullshit, you're good to go. The effects of Miss Jackson's wardrobe malfunction are still being felt today only by white people. And black people are on the heel of it. And in ways most people don't even realize unless they're black. Or unless they're white and they've made money on it. After over 140 million people saw her exposed breast, which is the only breast and the giver of life, the spectacle became a topic of conversation for weeks across white people in the nation. Plenty of people had seen it. The Super Bowl is the biggest television event every year. But there were of course millions of others who hadn't. At that time, there was no way to go back and rewatch the show unless you had taped it. While it certainly wasn't the first, this particular halftime show is likely the most powerful example of the power of FOMO, fear of missing out. No, fear of many others that are not white, which has become a cornerstone of marketing today. The ensuing media blitz led to a massive uptick in TiVo subscriptions, but that wasn't enough for some. One person who was up, and who would that be by? That certainly wouldn't be by black folks, because we come from a black woman with a black titty. We wouldn't need to TiVo Janet's breast. We just wouldn't need to do that. And it's my wife, so I see it all the time. So I don't need to. All right. One person who was upset at having missed the event, which would go on to be one of the biggest of the year, was Jawed Karim. And by the way, I've seen these people, so don't be fooled by names. All right, it ain't us. Who at the time was working for PayPal. Karim didn't catch the halftime show. In fact, y'all know me. Let's Google him so we can all see. Yeah, damn it, we do our work. Boom. There he is. Not us. Moving on. Who at the time was working for PayPal. Karim didn't catch the halftime show and was unable to find any videos of the incident online. To combat this, he and his friend Steve Chen and Chad Hurley began working on code for a site where people could upload their own content. That site would end up being YouTube, which launched not long after. I don't need to go on. You understand me? So, YouTube is based on and has its origin in an African woman who just happens to be my wife. That's how they came to be. Over my wife. You understand? So they exist because of an African woman. They exist because of an African woman. Be clear about that. Be clear. Be clear. And so when we discuss what's going on with us, it's not advertiser friendly. You understand? And they've put that shit on my videos before I've even published it. Like it's not even done uploading. And if I go and check my channel while it's still uploading, just go over it. It's not even finished, and they've already put that it's not advertiser friendly. You understand? And certainly if you mention anybody that they as white people have an issue with, so if you do anything about OJ, that's not advertiser friendly. You don't have to use any language, you don't have to show anything graphic, you don't have to do anything. Just you mention him, it's not advertiser friendly because of their white asses. You understand? So we have to remember, there are no good ones and they are everywhere, in everything. And we can make no distinctions. The same ones that run this bitch are the same ones that killed Sam Cooke. Are the same ones that killed Nipsey Hussle. Are the same ones that killed Dr. King. Are the same ones that killed Michael Jackson. Are the same ones that killed the Black Panther. Do you want me to keep going? That's why I said I cannot understand how any African person would call themselves in love with one of these damn people and have to turn over in the morning and look at the devil. I don't understand that. And I don't need to, because I'm a rational human being. And I'm actually a human being. Let that be clear. But there they are singing Sam Cooke's song as if they can relate. This man was singing his songs in the 1960s. This is 1964 that he was killed. I remind you, that's before the Voting Act's right. That's before the Civil Rights Act and the Voting Rights Act. And they relate to his music? Give me a break. And they don't have a Sam Cooke. You understand? Our music is born out of pain and struggle and experience, none of which they possess. None. And while I'm on my soapbox ranting, do you understand? They always mention Elvis. Elvis, goddammit, fat ass Elvis. Do you know how many Grammys Elvis ever had in his entire career? 3, bitches. 3. Michael Jackson picked up 8 in one night, and we don't need to even begin to count all his other stuff from there. There's your receipt. But you're dealing with a people that lie. The very essence of lying is the definition. And in their mind, the more you tell a lie, it becomes the truth. A lie is always a lie from its origin till its death, everybody. But they always want you to be trying to mention Elvis whose toenail doesn't even come close to Michael Jackson. You understand? Look, 3, this is Grammys, this is from Grammy. 3, 14 nominations. I wonder how many Michael had. Oh my God, 13 wins and 38 nominations. And we know these 38 were just shade, is why he didn't win those. Not because he wasn't deserving of them. You understand? I cite for you the year that the Bad album was out. It was up for Album of the Year. They had Diana Ross as one of the presenters to come out to present that category. Damn it, U2 won for the Joshua Tree. Or something like that. And Michael was sitting right there in the audience. But yet Bad was, everybody knows it was the biggest album. And still is a bigger album than the Joshua Tree ever sold or will sell. Don't play with me. Don't play with me. And stop with the false equivalence and stop buying into false equivalence. There is no equivalent to black excellence anywhere on the earth. And certainly not with the enemy of our people. Now, but other details of Sam Cooke's biography are less familiar. Remember the smooth voice and send me, blah, 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 blah. Some hazily recall the circumstances of his death at a seedy Los Angeles motel. But it is the forgotten detail that concerns this new film. In Remastered, The Two Killings of Sam Cooke, available now on Netflix, which we all don't have because we got rid of Netflix back years ago when I said we're over Netflix because of Monique. I certainly don't have it. All right, the streaming service's music, true crime documentary strand may have found its perfect subject. The film crams a lot into its 74-minute running time. So they couldn't give Sam 90 minutes? We couldn't get 90 minutes for Sam? Huh? We couldn't do that? How long was Titanic? 5 days, wasn't it? I think Titanic was 5 days. I think it was 5 days long. You see, 74 minutes for Sam. Because Cooke did so much in his 33 years. He was a soul music pioneer, sure, but also an inspired songwriter, savvy businessman, and tenacious civil rights leader. Several directions only hinted at would make for satisfying spin-off docs in their own rights. I think they meant directors. Several directors only hinted at. This is a dumb sentence they need to proofread. I'm not going to bust my brain over it. I can't. Alright. The Whitney Houston story had already been done twice. and there are obvious similarities with her pop parable. Not so much. All right. We love Whitney, God bless her, but in this context, there's no parable between her and Sam. There just isn't. All right. A generation earlier, Cook too came up through the gospel choir of the black church. Okay, that's not enough to make a comparison to Whitney Elizabeth Houston. Rest her soul. Transitioning to secular music, we have a million people who have done that. And was then required to suppress the more interesting parts of his artistry to appeal to white audiences. We need to be over that. Anything we do in life, we don't need to appeal to them. Period. Throw out these words like mainstream and wide appeal, and fuck that. You do everything in life for your people. You understand? Since I started on this bitch in 2014, I said I'm here for my people and my people only. I'm not interested in nobody else. Don't give a damn. You understand? I don't have time. You understand? Because they've created a present day and a history for me that doesn't allow me to have the luxury as a human being to give a shit about anything else other than what goes on with my damn people. I'm over it. And it's the worst. It's the dumbest thing we'd ever do in our lives, because anything we do, even take a damn crap, they want part of it. You understand? Do for your damn people, and they will come too. Yet Cook could never be dismissed as teeny bop fodder. A clip from a 1964 talk show has him gliding from stage to seated anecdote with a poise that is almost supernatural. He was a man who could key change and code switch with the same effortless grace, yet being a star was the easy bit. Changing the world was what challenged him. Many prominent activist artists of that generation didn't make it out of the 1960s alive, but most of those who did pop up here. Quincy Jones describes the conditions endured while touring the segregated South. It's not just the South, and we have to be over that too. This whole fucking country, wherever these people exist, that shit exists and still exists. It's not just the South. That's another one of the biggest lies told. It's right up there with Jesus Christ on the cross. Quote, we used to have to sleep in mortuaries. Us sleeping in a cot and 6 bodies up there in caskets. Suggested spin-off doc number 2. Dionne Warwick remembers Cook standing up to some racist devil-ass white fucking police. Smokey Robinson credits his old pal with popularizing the fro. The NFL's player Jim. By the way, Smokey Robinson has sold us out, and so has goddammit Jim Brown. Remember, Jim Brown was up there poised with Kanye when Kanye was up there like a damn animal with the Orange Circus, and Jim Brown sat his fat ass right there and did nothing. We're over him. You understand? They don't get any credit now. Don't try and attach yourself to Sam Cooke. Don't do it. You understand? NFL player remembers that the friendship between himself, Cook, Malcolm X, and Cassius Clay. Perfect that they mention Malcolm, because my crescendo is I'm ending with a piece. Anyways, in Cassius Clay, spin-off doc subject number 3. In fact, the play One Night in Miami already exists. Cook's courage almost manifested in his approach to the music industry. He rejected the routine way that black artists were treated out of royalties. Excuse me. By the way, he also owned his publishing, everybody. You know. The way they were achieved out of royalties, described by one contributor as, quote, like sharecropping, end quote, and instead started his own publishing and recording company. Sounds like Michael Jackson. All right. The week before he died, he was planning to confront his business manager, Alan Klein, clearly a Zionist fake Jew, over some paperwork. Klein would go on to screw both the Beatles and the Stones in a similar fashion. The dubious dealings of Alan Klein is spin-off doc number 4. I don't know what these docs they're talking about. Could Cook's willingness to stand up to powerful vested interests have been a factor in his murder? Come on, is that a hypothetical question? Is that meant to be rhetorical? Of course. Back then, the LAPD felt Cook's black life didn't matter enough to warrant a full investigation. Well, we would object to the term back then, because they're still the same, and these are the same motherfuckers that killed Nipsey Hussle and harassed him constantly. They're the same motherfuckers that arrested one of the dudes who was nearly mortally wounded in the same shooting and who's now in a wheelchair. I'm over it, dude. I'm over it. I'm over it. I'm over it. I'm over it. This doc makes that clear. But goes no further. Which brings us to suggested spinoff number 5. Isn't it time some enterprising filmmaker did a deep dive into Cook's death? Well, we need to call up Ryan Coogler, you understand? And how about Spike Lee? Can we get him on the phone? And what about Ava DuVernay? You know what I'm saying? And Oprah's fat ass. Why hasn't this documentary been done by us? He's ours. We should know what happened to him. Period. But I end with this crescendo. This goes to one of the ending statements I said after the article, or during the article, of why we cannot have these people in the midst of anything we're going to do. If we're really interested in liberation and revolution, the only faces must be African. Period. And we cannot give a damn about who doesn't like that. We're over tiptoeing around the feelings of white people because they're manufactured. These are soulless entities. I don't know where they come from. But we also sadly have to vet our own who have been seduced by this serpent. And this is an example. Hear this.
Will you have any comment at this time? But Malcolm's message was not lost on one audience and one man in particular.
So far as the rank and file of the colored population is concerned, maybe some of them do not like the FBI.
In J. Edgar Hoover's day, the FBI got a little crazy on the subject of black people. They had Elijah Muhammad under surveillance for at least 20, 25 years.
They had Elijah Muhammad under surveillance for at least 20, 25 years. We know Dr. King was under surveillance. We know the Black Panther was under surveillance. You understand? Anytime, that's why I say, anytime we don't include their black ass here, their white ass here, they come to fucking surveil and shit. Only guilty people do that. Because they're waiting on and suspecting on what we should have been doing a long fucking time ago before any of us were ever even born. But because we're bitches now, and we've bought into this get along and let there be peace and we shall overcome, this is why the shit continues. This is why Nipsey Hussle is dead. This is why Michael Jackson is dead. And why they will continue to kill any of our people. This is why we have them smashing our brother's head into the pavement, this teenager they did recently. And on and on and on it goes. You understand? I just saw where they want Howard University to move. We've allowed this boldness with our lack of action. Hear this, and hear what Malcolm has to say.
You and I need something right now that's going to benefit all of us. That's going to change the community in which we live, not try and take us somewhere else. We are African, and we happen to be in America. We're not American. We are people who formerly were Africans who were kidnapped and brought to America. Our forefathers weren't the Pilgrims. We didn't land on Plymouth Rock. The rock was landed on us. We were brought here against our will. We were not brought here to be made citizens. We were not brought here to enjoy the constitutional gifts that they speak so beautifully about today. And because we weren't brought here to be made citizens today, now that we've become awakened to some degree and we begin to ask for those things which they say are supposedly for Americans, they look upon us with hostility and unfriendliness. If you're interested in freedom, you need some judo, you need some karate, you need all the things that will help you fight for freedom. Nationalism is the wave of the present and the future. It is nationalism that's bringing freedom to oppressed people all over the world. It was nationalism that brought freedom to the Algerians. It was nationalism that brought freedom to the Nigerians and to the Ghanaians. It was nationalism that brought freedom to the people of Uganda and Tanganyika and Sudan and Somaliland. The Africans didn't get it by sitting in. They didn't get it by waiting in. They didn't get it by singing "We Shall Overcome." They got it through nationalism. And you and I will get it through nationalism. What is it? What is it that makes it difficult for the philosophy of nationalism to spread among the so-called Negroes? Number one, they think they have a stake in America. They think they have an investment in this country, which we do. We invested 310 years of slave labor, 310 years, every day of which your and my mother and father worked for nothing. Not 8 hours a day. There was no union in that day. They worked from sun up until sundown, from can't see in the morning until can't see at night. They never had a day off. And on Sunday, they were allowed to sit down and sing about when they die, they wouldn't be slaves no more. When they die, they wouldn't be slaves no more. They'd go up in the sky, and every day would be Sunday. That's a shame. And it is that 310 years of slave labor that went in, that was my and your contribution into this particular economy and political system. They can give us the back pay. Let's join in. If this is what the Negro wants, let's join him. Let's show him how to struggle. Let's show him how to fight. Let's show him how to bring about a real revolution. Let's make him stop jiving. You don't need a debate. You don't need a filibuster. You need some action.
You feel, however, that we're making progress in this country and worldwide?
No. I will never say that progress is being made. If you stick a knife in my back 9 inches and pull it out 6 inches, there's no progress. You pull it all the way out, that's not progress. The progress is healing the wound that's a blow made. And they haven't even begun to pull a knife out, much less try and heal the wound. They won't even admit the knife is there.
They had Malcolm under surveillance for most of his public life. When I say surveillance, I'm talking about wiretaps, I'm talking about room bugs, I'm talking about infiltrators.
You were an undercover agent.
Same shit they do to us now. Here is your coon. You see? You see? First of all, that's why you have to vet any one of ours that are around us. Period. You must vet our own. Because white supremacy comes in blackface. Sadly. That's real. They know it, and we know it. We know it. Watch this asshole.
For the police, he didn't know that.
Just a second. Let's take it back.
Surveillance, I'm talking about wiretaps, I'm talking about room bugs, I'm talking about infiltrators.
You were an undercover agent for the police. He didn't know that.
No, he didn't.
And you got in close, very close. He trusted you.
I would say yes.
See, that's what I say. All skin folk and kinfolk. And that's why I say in my mind, anything that we do or organize, if you're a Christian, you definitely suspect, because you are the weakest of character. You understand? Muslims have a code of life that we live by. It's our way of life. Hear this. And I'm not talking about the Nation of Islam people. I'm talking about Muslims. Orthodox Muslims. We have a code by which we live. You understand? And as much as I talk smack about the Nation of Islam not being Muslims, that's separate and apart from everything else that they do. You notice right now, and for many decades, certainly since Malcolm was killed, they search you coming into their organization. You understand? They search you. And Farrakhan always has FOI around him. When he moves, they move. If he's on the stage, you see two dudes move when he moves. Left or right, it don't matter. They've learned. You understand? And they've not tried anything against Farrakhan. Why? Because they don't have the Christian mind. They still just glorify Christians. But them brothers are serious. They're serious. Dr. King got killed, people rioted, and they bitched for a few years, and it was over. They kill Farrakhan, watch out, homie. That's when you want to get out your visa and get on the next flight. Because they're not going to take that lying down. They're not going to take that lying down. It's not going to happen. Ask yourself, why haven't they gone against the nation? Why? 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 Farrakhan had the Million Man March. I was there and everything. Why haven't they gone against them? They took down the Panthers? Huh? Because they know they don't have that Christian bullshit. It's not going to just let bygones be bygones. Farrakhan dies of anything other than natural causes. It's on and cracking. Watch what I tell you. Watch. Watch. You see? But here, this light-skinned coon was able to get next to Malcolm, and he trusted him. Gene Roberts. We hope he's dead now.
You were an undercover agent for the police. He didn't know that.
No, he didn't.
And you got in close, very close. He trusted you.
I would say yes, sir.
Gene Roberts got so close that he became Malcolm X's bodyguard, even though he was really an undercover cop in the New York City Police Department. Your job was to gather intelligence, to gather information.
Yes.
And the Bureau's mission was to keep tabs on potentially violent people?
Yes.
That's what they told him, so it was double playing him. Double playing him. Because nobody in the nation was violent, sadly. You see. But Malcolm was also saying, if anyone, his quote, if any one of these devils puts a hand on you, you do your best to make sure they don't put their hands on anybody else. So he wasn't teaching that turn the cheek bullshit. You see, as long as you preach that, they're cool with you. You see. But how long are people supposed to take this shit? What do you think would have happened if Charlottesville, with them marching through with their swastikas and tiki torches, had been 1,000 brothers with black fists and black berets? The double standard, you understand? I'm not one to sit on the stoop. You punch me, I punch you back. Ain't no forgiveness. What's good for the goose? But here he is up down now telling it to Massa.
To gather intelligence, to gather information.
Yes.
And the Bureau's mission was to keep tabs on potentially violent people?
Yes.
Why was Malcolm X considered a potentially violent, if not in fact violent person?
Well, I guess at that point in time, society wasn't ready for Malcolm X.
No, forget the society. White people were afraid of black people coming for their ass. And it wasn't just at that time they weren't ready. They're still not ready. You see, you have to state stuff as it is, everybody. And let us note that he's missing his front teeth, so that's interesting.
That point in time, society wasn't ready for Malcolm X. He was saying a lot of things that society didn't want to hear at that point in time.
They never want to hear it. You see? It goes back to not advertiser friendly. You see? if you're not kissing and licking their ass and bowing to them and acting like you're afraid of them, they have a problem. And we got to be over their problem.
The week before he was killed, there was a meeting at the Audubon. And I saw what I thought, and I still think, was a dress rehearsal for Malcolm's impending assassination.
Okay, and now you're going to tell us, Jeannie, who did you tell about this dry run? Who'd you tell? Who'd you tell? Tell us now. Tell us. I want to hear now, because I'm sure he's going to tell me. He's going to tell me now he went directly to Malcolm and said, "You're in danger." Roll it.
Malcolm's impending assassination. I called the department the following morning.
He called the department. He didn't go to Malcolm, who's the target. No. I'll go to the department. The very white devils that have me installed there. I'll go tell Massa, not Malcolm, my brother, who I'm really not his brother because I'm a coon and a sellout and a traitor. No. I went and told the department, said Toothless.
Impending assassination. I called the department the following morning, and I told them that I felt that this was as I put it, a dry run. And they told me that, okay, we'll pass it on and we'd take care of it.
And you believed them. The enemy of our people who have your black ass there to infiltrate another black man, and you believed them. Oh my God. Oh my God. I can't, dude. I can't tell you how many a night I talk to the creator of my being, the one who gives me breath now, and ask him, why do you allow this? Why? Why do you not annihilate these people off the earth? Why? 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 Why?
What they did with it, I really don't know.
I really don't know. Oh, you have no idea, but you just said, what did he say, 2 weeks before Malcolm was killed? So I don't know what they did with it. I don't know what happened, but it just turns out Malcolm was killed. I don't know what they did with the information that I took to Massa, because I didn't go to Malcolm and warn him. And of course, Devil here is not going to say, why didn't you warn Malcolm? I cannot.
The following morning, and I told them that I felt that this was as I put it, a dry run. And they told me that, okay, we'll pass it on and we'd take care of it. What they did with it, I really don't know.
I did not have a gun, but I tell you, I wished I had a gun. Because when I walked into the Audubon Barroom and seen nobody on the door, seen no one there, I became very
It gets choked up even thinking about it. He showed up and noticed there was no security on the door, and just even remembering that is breaking him up. But Toothless just sat up there and was able to just say it looking like the fucking guilty rat that he is. I cannot. Oh my God. Dude, I can't.
I became very
I want you to hear the full statements. Let me go back.
But I tell you, I wished I had a gun.
Wait.
I did not have a gun, but I tell you, I wished I had a gun. Because when I walked into the Audubon Barroom and seen nobody on the door, seen no one there, I became very upset. And I went as I walked to the back of the room, I asked, I said, what is this?
See, he went directly and asked somebody, what the hell is this? Meanwhile, Toothless, when he saw what he thought, in his words, was a dry run, he went and told Massa. He didn't go to Malcolm and say, look, man, I think this is a dry run. I think they planned to take you out. I can't, dude. I can't. I cannot. Black people, we need unity at all cost. On everything. At all times. You understand? Oh my God.
And they said, this is his request. He told us not to put nobody on the door.
Now, I wonder if Toothless is the one that said that to him. Because Toothless was his bodyguard. I wonder if Toothless is the one that told him this is what he wanted. Toothless played a role in Malcolm's assassination. I'm proclaiming right now. I'm proclaiming that. Proclaiming it.
This is his request. He told us not to put nobody on the door. I said, don't give me that. Don't give me that. I said, somebody in here is playing games.
And a commotion started.
Then we're back to Toothless. And a commotion started. But you said you already saw a dry run. So wasn't that the same commotion?
Two individuals near the front got up and one of them hollered, get your hands up my pocket.
Malcolm said, all right.
Plus, look, y'all. Like I said, if I got a squint, you ain't one of us. His hair is the wrong texture.
My pocket.
That would be enough for me to reject him. You understand? I don't care what his skin... The hair is wrong. Damn it, it's wrong. You understand?
Malcolm said, all right.
So you can...
Playing games.
And a commotion started. Two individuals near the front got up and one of them hollered, get your hands up my pocket.
Malcolm said, all right. And all of a sudden, that's when the bullets start ringing.
I saw three individuals from the front get up and just started firing at him. They came running down the middle aisle toward the exit. I turned and went back, and two of them passed me. And I met the third individual, and just as he turned to fire at me, I turned sideways and hit him with a chair.
No, you didn't.
And I knocked him down.
That's a lie.
I saw him scramble up.
More lies.
Run out the door. I chased him out the door.
More lies.
At which time, when I got out, there was a crowd of people outside. They had him, and they were beating him.
Then show us where you are in this picture, where you ran out and they were beating him. Where are you at in the photo?
I turned around and went back in, and as I got to the stage, he was still laying there, and everybody was standing around. So at that time, I started giving him mouth-to-mouth.
You're the one that gave him mouth-to-mouth? Just a second. Malcolm's been down. You just told a whole story about chasing three of them, and hitting somebody with a chair and then running outside and seeing the whole time Malcolm's already been shot. Nobody's doing any mouth-to-mouth until you show up. I don't believe you. I can't. I can't, dude. Always be aware of people with a gap in their tooth or that talk with a lisp or missing front teeth, everybody. This is a problem. It's just something I've observed over my life, and I've never been wrong. I can't. You know what I'm saying? I can't. Even one of my sisters, she's always had a gap between her two front teeth. The biggest liar on earth. Google the word liar, her picture comes up. Hear that lie again. But the sequence of it, so you can just imagine, like now the shooting has happened. All this time is taking place because seconds are like hours when you've been injured. He's done all this, and now he comes and he's the one who gives Malcolm the mouth-to-mouth. We're to believe this.
I saw three individuals from the front get up and just started firing at him. They came running down the middle aisle toward the exit.
They came running towards the exit. Where were you? Because there was nobody on the door. Kenyatta already told us that. So they're running toward the exit. Where are you at?
I turned and went back, and two of them passed me.
Went back where? They were running to the exit. Where were you that you ran back? And they ran past you. Why? And if you were not at the exit, then why didn't you immediately jump up on stage and start giving Malcolm mouth to mouth? This is a white man, everybody. This is not an African. You have to listen. If you don't walk, talk, smell, and breathe like me, damn it, you ain't me.
And I met the third individual, and just as he turned the fire at me, I turned sideways and hit him with a chair.
So all of this is happening. Malcolm's already been shot. All this is happening. He turned sideways because he's a superhero, and he hits him with a chair after the guy's just shot at him.
And I knocked him down.
And he knocks him down. But no mention of the gun being knocked out of the guy's hand. I'm knocked down with a chair and I still got a gun. I still turn and shoot you. This is nothing. You see, more lies.
I saw him scramble up, run out the door.
Because he's more afraid of your chair than his own gun. So he scrambles out the door, according to Toothless.
I chased him out the door.
And now he's chasing him out. You're chasing a man with a gun. Think about that. It's one thing you chase a person with a gun and you got a gun. You don't got no gun. You're chasing someone who you just said shot at you. Think about that. So he scrambles up and he's running out the door and I chased after him because I'm a superhero now.
I saw him scramble up, run out the door. I chased him out the door. At which time, when I got out, there was a crowd of people outside. They had him and they were beating him.
They had him and they were beating him. How'd they know he wasn't one of the people that was one of the parishioners that was there? How do they know that he was a shooter? I mean, why would they be beating him? And specifically him, because when shooting starts, everybody was running. Why wouldn't this have been one of the people that was also just happened to be running too? You see, nah.
I turned around and went back in.
Now he turns around and goes back in. He doesn't say to them, that's the guy. He was one of the shooters. He shot at me. I run and I go back inside and run up the aisle.
And as I got to the stage, he was still laying there and everybody was standing around.
Everybody's standing around. Who believes that?
So at that time I started giving him mouth to mouth.
Well, this could be anybody. We don't have any proof that that's his lying ass.
And he died right there on stage.
For all I know, you could have been the one to block Malcolm's breathing to be sure he was dead. And just as an interesting speculation, if you will, let us look at this. Now, this is Toothless. There he is. When Dan Rather said you were his bodyguard, you got close to him, he trusted you, and he was like, yeah, and then whatever, he vomited out, I can't, whatever. There's Toothless. Goatee. Alright. Glasses. Let us look at the hairline and the ears. Alright. I'm speculating. Now, look at this image. Look.
They came running down.
Huh?
The
I don't know.
to...
I'm offering this as a speculation. And interesting that with all this going on, he looks at the camera, and even just that there's somebody filming occurs to me now. Like, Who has the time to stay? This tragic event just happened, and somebody's filming with a steady hand, no shaking of the camera. And this person is looking direct. Now, is that toothless? I don't know. I don't have that answer. I don't have that answer. I just don't have it. But whoever this person is,
they came running
and then they look away. Now they're looking at Malcolm. All right.
down the middle.
But then, when we get to the image where the person is giving mouth to Malcolm, the Jedi would note that this person does not appear to have a goatee. And the hairline seems to be different from... Where is it at now? The Jedi does his work. Huh?
In the New York City Police Department. Huge.
Wait, let's see, because I thought there was a closer image of him. There it is. The ears, the hairline, the goatee, the nose. Grant you here, it's just a goatee. There's not a beard so much. It's just the goatee. We know there's the way he does it. There's a little bit of a gap here. The hair doesn't. Again, I'm speculating. I'm offering a hypothesis.
What the exit?
Wait, we want to see when he looks at the camera. Obviously, the picture of him originally when he's, the bodyguard or whatever, is not taken on the same day, obviously. I offer this as a speculation to you. Does this look like it could be the same human being? Note the cheekbone structure. Alright. Sadly, the picture's not close enough for us to see the mustache part. If the hairline would be consistent as far as how far it comes, up to, to your forehead, but, the shape up could be different. Obviously, the lower picture has a lower haircut. We show up differently depending on how light hits our black skin. So he could look lighter in the bottom picture than he would in the lighting and the one where he's up top there. I don't know. I offer this just as speculation. Just as speculation. And then, like I say, then we get to the part where he's the one that has to give the mouth to mouth because nobody's doing anything at all. I'm presuming this is still our person. The shoulder there, that's presumably the same person, but we do see someone bending over at Malcolm's head area. I would make that out to be a sister based on how the jacket is cut. Because remember, we were still wearing long jackets for men. We weren't doing this shit that don't cover our ass like little girls, like the dudes are wearing now. All that sissy stuff. I would be inclined to say that is a female. Again, I'm speculating. And then this person.
That time I started giving him mouth to mouth. And
I don't know. we would note the ear there, and then let's see what Toothless's ears look like in the interview. Well, first let's see what they look like. Well, we already saw what they look like in the black and white picture. His larger ears. See the ear on this one. And now look at the ears here. Where was that close up? Those are Dumbo ears, homie. Those are Dumbo ears. At least in that photograph. Dumbo. Alright. I think he just took flight. Alright. Fine. Now, then we get here. And you know, you change over the years. But look at the ears, though. Notice the cheekbone structure here. The high sort of, you know, where it becomes we go, oh, that's where your cheek began. You know, you kind of just go with me. I'm not, just go with me. Like I say, we change as we get older. You know, even his hair texture is different here than it is at 53. Wait now. You see, so I'm sketchy. You know, and then we get to the dude that was looking at the camera that was clearly thinking it was a photo shoot moment, apparently. We notice that line starts up here. Again, it's not taken at the same time. The interview is done at one time. The picture at 53 is taken at a different time. This image is a different time. It just is different. But by the time we get to, oh my God, he is the savior of all things, we notice
So at that time I started giving
the ear. I have to let it play because otherwise this description of it will be in the way. Do your work, Jedi. Capture the image without that so the people can see it. Okay, there's this. It's not really the best picture. I did my best, y'all, now. Can't really tell. Can't really tell. But the ear on this one is very distinct. You know. Wait, Jedi, you got another trick up your sleeve. Rotate. What do we think? What do we think, troops? That actually looks like a white man, quite frankly. If you aches me. Like I say, I don't know. I don't know. But I do know that the ears on this person are not the same as Toothless. Not by these photos. Not by these photos. Here's another image right when he says, and when I came out the door, they had him. That's all we can get, because then it's just that quick minute that you see him. And then so we can't really, you see, but clearly he's a quote-unquote black man and he's not being attacked. And their focus, all these murderers, are clearly focused on something down in front of them, and so is he. So we assume that's the dude that he's talking about. Can't really get him. But we see that damn box hairline though. You feel me? If that's the dude. I mean, I don't know. You know, I'm not even pretending like I know. I'm just trying to say that I'm offering this for your consideration, you know. I tell you, it's a damn shame we have to fight this enemy and our own damn people all at the same damn time. I'm over it, everybody. I'm over it. But what I know for sure is every time we allow one of ours to be taken in such a public and dramatic fashion, certainly any of our ones that we hold up high and things like that, we have an obligation not to stand around and do no fucking chanting, no marching, and no singing, and no protesting. Fuck all of that. You understand? If you want something you never had, you gotta do shit you never did. This is why they continue to come for us. They continue. They continue. They're letting their dogs go shit on the lawn at Howard University. That's what they're doing. And then you have one of these devils come out and say they should move the school. He feels safe saying that because he's known 80 niggas ain't coming to his house to take him to ashes. This is a problem. That's what's real.
And he died right there on stage.
I'm over it. 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 You know. I'm over it. But that's why I say I know that I have to get the fuck up out of here and move to Africa. Not only because it's the calling of my soul and it is my destiny to die on African soil, but it is also my wish and my dream to try to coax my people once they see I'm there and I can give you a real picture of what even just Ghana is like. I pray that my people will begin to move in droves, because if I stay in this bitch, it's death or jail for me. There are no other options. This is the Jedi.